Hey guys, Jess with Wreath. So I just wanted to show you, this is the wreath form that we just made in the last video, and now we're going to add the mesh that we cut in the video prior. So as you remember, we have 3 different colors of mesh. We cut them together. We have this natural burlap, we have a gold, and we have purple. As you can tell, this is going to be a bee wreath. There's no yellow and black. What's that about? I did learn in past wreaths that I made in the bow theme, or the bee theme, that if you add too much black, it looks very dark. And the whole point of a summer or spring wreath is to be bright and cheery. So you don't really want a dark wreath on your door. It doesn't really match the theme. So I purposely did not add any black in this wreath because I don't want that to happen again. Okay, so here we are. I was talking through that, attaching the first part of the mesh on there. But here's what we're doing. So we have the 3 colors. We're gonna do burlap, gold, purple in that order. You're gonna separate your mesh. What you're gonna do is it'll curl up on itself because that's how it was on the roll. What I always do, there's lots of different ways to do it, but this is called, technically it's like a curl and a ruffle together. See, if you can see the end, even though I tried to cut it perfectly straight, not so much. And you wanna hide that in your wreath so that it doesn't show frays on the customer's door. So what I do is I roll it twice and then I gather it with my fingers like this. And then this other end part here, I roll it 2 more times like that. And then I gather it together and I put it down. So the part that has the seam is down, so it helps cut down on the frays as well. You just move this burlap one to the side, you place it down in the tie, and I always just tie it tightly, but just one time, because you need to have some more room in that pipe cleaner to attach your ribbons. And there you go. So then you turn it, you get the next piece of mesh, you roll it once or twice just to hide that frayed edge. You gather it with your fingers. You try to kind of keep it even, so the same amount of mesh on each side of your fingers, like that. So it kind of looks like a butterfly. You flip it over so the frayed part is down. You place it centered in your stem, kind of open it up like a butterfly again, and then you move on to the next one. So now we're doing burlap again because that's the order that we started, and we want to keep that same pattern going. So once again, 1, 2, gather it up like this. We're gonna curl it, 1, 2, gather it like this. See, try to get in the middle so it's the same on both sides. Flip it over, pick up that previous bundle, put this down in the middle, give it a good twist, fluff it, and move on. So you do the same exact thing in all 18 of the ties. I always start with the outside ring first. There's 12 ties on the outside, there's 6 on the inside. So I tend to do the outside one first and then move to the inside. Different wreath makers have different styles, and you do what works best for you, but this is what tends to work best for me. It provides a nice full wreath. You're still able to see the colors when you add the ribbon and the embellishments, but it doesn't make too bulky of a wreath because I do use, we do have to keep in mind that we're shipping these for the most part. I do have some amazing local customers that buy from me, but I'm no longer selling in the local boutique anymore, and most of my wreaths are shipped. So shipping costs are astronomical. A lot of times when you see a wreath and you see how much it costs to ship it, a lot of buyers kind of shy away a smidge because, to be honest with you, the wreaths that I sell, they are full, but they're not as full as many people's make actually. And I use a 24 by 24 by 6 shipping box. Most of my wreaths measure about 24 inches across, a little bit deeper than 6, normally around 8 inches, but that box gives it a nice cozy fit without smushing it. I wire the bottom of my boxes with 2 pipe cleaners so that I can attach the wreaths to the bottom of the box so that it doesn't shift too much in transit and get smushed, even though the wired ribbons can be refluffed. It's still best for the customer to receive the wreath in the same manner in which they bought it. right? You buy it based on an Etsy listing, you see it in its picture and all its glory, and you want to receive that same item for your door. You don't want to receive something that's all smushed and squished and all the things. So anyways, as I was saying, wreaths cost a lot to ship. They, on average, for me, for those 24 by 24 by 6 boxes, even using a discounted shipping system that I am able to do based on the volume of wreaths that I sell each year, it still costs over $20 to ship each wreath. And it's a lot, but it's a large box. And just like everything else, the prices are going up, but the quality is staying the same here at Peekaboo Wreaths. But anyways, as I was saying, this technique provides a nice full wreath, full of detail, and definitely show-stopping. It attracts people to your home. People might be walking down the street and your wreath will stick out to them. Provides a welcoming experience for your friends and neighbors when they come by. And it's just something to feel proud of. Just a little extra decor piece on your door. So we are almost done with the outside ring here. We have 3 more pieces to go, and then we'll move to the inside ring. Hopefully this tutorial and the tutorials that I've been doing are inspiring you to make your own wreaths. I learned how to make wreaths based on YouTube videos myself. My oldest, who is now in 3rd grade, when he was a little over a year, I stumbled across a wreath making video on YouTube. At the time, they were using Dollar Tree materials, and it enticed me because it was like, you can make this wreath and it's only a few dollars and it looks really good. And I was like, yes, okay, let's try it, you know? So I tried it and I loved it. But since then, I have definitely moved up in the quality of materials that I use. I never sold any of those Dollar Tree wreaths, by the way. They just gave them to friends. But slowly but surely, as I started to gain confidence in my wreath making abilities, I started to use more quality items, because I realized that like most things in life, not everything, like most things in life, you get what you pay for. And the higher the quality, the better it looks, the fuller it is, the longer it lasts, all those good things. Okay, so we're done with the outside. I made sure that most of my pipe cleaners are back pointed this way towards me, so they're not up and they don't get twisted on the inside ones. We still have all of our inside pipe cleaners here. I'm gonna open them up like this, because before they were more like a V. I wanna open them up and down, because when I put my mesh in, it's easier to put them in that way. So we're gonna open them up like that, move some of the ones on the outside ring out of the way. There are 6 on the inside ring. Like I said before, there's 12 on the outside. All right, so we're doing the same exact thing that we did on the outside ring as we are gonna do on the inside ring. So I pull a burlap piece of mesh. It does not really matter if like a burlap one on the inside is on top of a burlap one on the outside. You know, I mean, you can follow the same pattern of like the burlap gold purple, or you can switch it up. It's totally up to you. But it doesn't really matter if it's like a burlap on top of a burlap. So here we are, moving the mesh to the side like this, placing the burlap piece down just like before. I'm putting it in the tie, twisting it one time. What I do when I put the top on is I try to move the mesh that's on the bottom level down, so that it's not right on top of each other, but they're butting up against each other like this, because it gives more volume that way than if I just smash a piece of mesh on top of another piece of mesh. We want to make sure that we see all of our different mesh colors, and we don't want to waste, if you can't see it, it's like, what's the point of it having it there? And we don't want to waste any of the materials that we're using. We don't want to add money where we don't need to add it. Just like before, we're giving it a couple curls. Try to gather it in the middle like a little butterfly. Flip it over so the fray side is down. You're going to go to the next tie. Place it down. twist the tie like that. And then what I always do is I pick up the mesh so that it's not all squishing down the other ones. There you go. Okay. And then you're gonna move on to the next one. As we said before, we have 6 on the inside. What do you guys think of this color combination? I've been really into yellow and purple together this spring and summer season. I just think that's such a fresh combination for spring and for summer. Give it a couple of curls. Try to get it evenly in the middle. So pick up the mesh. Place it down in there. Give it a couple twists, just like that. Kind of adjust the mesh around it. Just like that. And then we're moving on. So it's kind of tedious, like I said, kind of the same thing. But you know what? In a way, it's relaxing too. And it's a necessary step. Gotta add the mesh before you can add the ribbon and the signs and the bow and all the goodies. So roll it twice. Gather it up the middle, roll this side twice, gather it like a little butterfly, flip it over, add it to your wreath. What have you guys been thinking of these tutorials? Have they been helping you guys? Have they kind of motivated you to make a wreath of your own, or maybe you just like to see how the wreath that you purchase, which all these of course are normally available in my Etsy shop, but it's kind of fun to see the behind the scenes and to hear at least the voice and see the hands of one of the people that's creating these for you. I'm the only person. I'm the only one that makes these wreaths here. So we're grabbing our last piece of gold. We're gonna have one more purple, and then we are gonna be ready for the ribbons. So as I said before, even though we're trying to put the frayed side down, there does tend to be a little bit of fraying that still happens. I try to tuck in these raw edges here. The mesh tends to stick to itself, so I'll try to roll those in a little bit before I put it in the wreath. And even when you are adding your ribbons, you can kind of look if there's any pieces of mesh that look like they are a little bit wild with any little plastic strings sticking up. You can always trim those. I would definitely, I'm guilty of pulling them, but it's kind of like anything else that has fibers in it. If you pull on it, it is possible that it will unravel or cause like a bigger problem. I don't know if any of you guys have ever done that. It reminds me of a story that happened one time with my oldest. We were like trying to get out the door to get to school on time. He realized he had a tag on the inside of his shirt, like towards the bottom. It was like a care tag. And it was like along the seam, and he's like, "Mom, I have this tag, I want it off, I want it off." And I was like slightly rushed, right, trying to get kids out the door, and I just took the tag in my hand and I just pulled it, thinking that it would just like come right off. But for some reason, I guess the quality was really good on that shirt, and it was really attached, and it ripped the whole seam. It ripped a hole. It's funny now. It was not funny then. My son was not happy that he couldn't wear the shirt that he was wearing. And then what's even more ironic is we were trying to save time by me doing that instead of getting a pair of scissors, and it ended up taking more time because now he had to change, and I had to calm him down because he was upset. So, all right, anyways, long story short, I guess, or short story long. Here we go. Our mesh base is completely done. We have our 3 colors on there. As you can see, we got lots of volume. See you next time to see how it looks with the ribbon attached. See you soon. Thanks. Bye.